controlled Sector Anton. Enemy has control. The enemy controls most of the sectors. Loss is too much. We must adjust tactics. Sector Chaser is controlled by the enemy. Soldiers, enemy forces have secured all sectors. The enemy has won. We have been beaten and must accept the consequences.
Major funding for Nova is provided by the following. The Age Code Fund for Science, supporting Nova and promoting public understanding of science.
HHMI, Howard Hughes Medical Institute,
And the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and by PBS viewers like you, thank you. Additional funding from Lockheed Martin, inspiring tomorrow's engineers and technologists, and Millicent Bell, through the Millicent and Eugene Bell Foundation. On a remote mountainside, high in the European Alps, a man makes his way through the thin mountain air. It is a desolate place. But he is not alone.
Let's get moving.
On this day, 3,000 years before the birth of Christ, this man's life will end in a violent death. On this day, 3,000 years before the birth of Christ, this man's life will end
On this day, 3,000 years before the birth of Christ, this man's life will end in a violent death. On this day, 3,000 years before the birth of Christ, this he is not alone. On this day, 3,000 years before the birth of Christ, this man's life will end in a violent death.
What if smartphones were more than just smart? The all-new Google Pixel 6 truly sees you, not a blurry face. With the most advanced and inclusive smartphone camera yet, Google Pixel 6. With their moans, groans, and screams, Hollywood's mummies have always given us chills.
Watch your backs out there. Everyone comes home.
Scientists are recreating Otzi the Iceman's voice in a bid to discover how people spoke 5,000 years ago. Well, it was over 5,000 years ago that Otzi the Iceman met another Stone Age man armed with a bow and arrow, and he saw the end of his life. Well, scientists today still won't leave the Iceman in peace. Since he was found poking out of a glacier 3,000 meters up in the Italian Alps in 1991, the Iceman has proven to be a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of information about human life in the Neolithic period. Now, researchers in Italy are attempting to recreate his voice box. They're going to construct a model of his vocal tract with CT scans. Yes, they think they can, but they've already done DNA sequencing of the Iceman. He has a frozen breath in a sterile glass box, 70 degrees centigrade, and 120 millimeters. And it demonstrated that vital discoveries were able to recreate voice and the colour and timbre of the vowel sound to show just how amazing vowel movement can compare it to how we speak today.
Well, yeah, so just to be clear, they're not going to try and recreate language, they're not going to be able to discern language, but to your point, just the tone and the depth of his voice, or quite where it was.
How he makes the vowels sound.
Wow, so how he actually articulated, that's extraordinary. That will give us a lot of information about the development of language and how, and obviously the hope is that at some point there will be some discernible language that he will be making rather than just...
We have Sector Bravo.
Absolutely, and this goes back to Neolithian time. So obviously, the fact that he was found in the Alps, he may well have spoken very
Our forces
differently
control
from
most
people back
sectors.
then in other parts of the world, but certainly...
I expect him to speak fluent Italian.
certainly a wealth of information there. What we know about Otzi so far, though, he was 5'5" tall.
Okay.
He weighed
That's
about...
not bad for a
No.
5,000-year-old guy. That's a pretty reasonable height.
Right,
actually.
he weighed about 59 kilograms, so he was very physically fit. He wasn't overweight at all.
Okay,
He
good.
was about 45 years old when he died,
Well.
which is reasonably old for someone
Sure.
back then, 5,000 years ago. They found him with 3 broken ribs. They found him with an intestinal parasite whipworm and an ulcer causing an infection of his gut. But here's where it gets interesting. They also found on his body a flint-headed arrow that went through his entire shoulder,
They have
rupturing the
Sector
key blood
Delta.
vessel that flowed blood from his heart to his left arm. So effectively, they found out that Otzi was murdered, and they still won't leave him alone.
Yeah, they still want to... Well, you said the world's oldest natural mummy. He's 1,000 years old. Contextualize it. He's 1,000 years older than any Egyptian mummy that we've got on record, that we've discovered, rather. So, I mean, it's quite extraordinary. Yeah, they still won't leave the poor old boy alone. They're trying to plunder him for as much information as they can. But it is, I mean, that's not what it's about, but no, it is absolutely fascinating. And if they can recreate this, it will give us that wonderful window into development language and how we've begun. It doesn't all start with the Flintstones. It wasn't quite, we weren't all running around it. Although they did actually, that having been said, they've also discovered what he was wearing.
Yes.
They figured out what he was wearing,
They
right?
have recreated.
I don't know how they did that.
They have recreated what OC was wearing. They put together with a tie or perhaps
We're no longer in control.
A goat skin loincloth, leather leggings, a goat skin coat, a cloak of grass stitched together with animal sinews, and now they're going to recreate his voice.
They captured Sector Charlie. Our troops are engaging at Charlie 1.
Stay back! Do not assist me!
Got to start securing sectors. Enemy has majority control. We got Sector Charlie. An objective is under attack. We're seeing them weaken, but there's a long way to go. Update. Taking control point by point.
On today's In Focus, we return to the Ulstal Alps on the border of Austria and Italy, for it was here on the 19th of September 1991, 25 years ago, that a group of hikers made a remarkable discovery. In the meltwaters of the Similon Glacier, at a height of 3,200 meters, they came across human remains. Believing him to be recently deceased, the mountaineers reported the body, and the next day police attempted to remove the corpse using ice axes and pneumatic drills.
Allies
This
are
attempt
securing
was
Echo 1.
abandoned due to bad weather. On the 22nd of September, a team from Innsbruck recovered the body for medical examination. It was becoming clear that this was not a recent death, and by the 24th of September, the archaeologist Konrad Spindler had been asked to examine the corpse. He suggested that this man was around 4,000 years old. This was based on the remarkable artifacts recovered with the body. He was approximately 1.65 meters, or 5 feet 5 inches tall, and had the appearance of a late Neolithic man, very much from that part of the world. Due to where he was discovered, he quickly gained the nickname
Objective captured.
the Iceman.